Hello everyone, my name is Gönül Eyüp. I am a student of English language teaching in Eskişehir Osman Gazi University. Today I am going to explain how to make your presentation, and today's topic is presenting your work with impact, presentation skills training. At first, let's start with presenting. There is two main points that we should care about, is importance and being a great speaker. Why importance is important? Because we'll come across with it a lot in every area of our life. For example, at school, at job. This skill will help you to improve your communication skills, to build confidence, and to make connection with your audience. While we were speaking about audience, here is the second point that we should care about, being a great speaker. Why being a great speaker is important, and which qualities should a great speaker have. For example, great speaker must have confidence, good body language, and knowledge about the topic. And please let me know who is your great speaker. Great speaker can be anyone that inspires you, that gives you these struggle things, and when you see this person, you just want to follow them. Let me know who it is. Let's move on to the next slide. It's about storytelling. Storytelling is the act of telling and writing stories. We are all telling stories in every area of our life. When we are late to work, we start making some narrative in our head, or when we are making present for our friends or our family, we start think about these things like, would they love this or would they didn't love? And all these things are create narratives in our head. So we are the authors of our life. And sometimes we make stories look bigger than it is actually was. So now let's move on to some storytelling techniques. These techniques divide into two, traditional storytelling techniques and new storytelling techniques. At first, let's see traditional storytelling techniques, which divides into two, the hero's journey and the three-act structure. The hero's journey is stories about transformation. It begins with an adventure, then there is some challenges, and at the end, the hero come to home as a changed person. If you ask why people love this type of story, let me answer. Because of the courage and of stepping out of the comfort zone. So now let's move on to the three-act structure. The three-act structure. People love it because it's organized, and we use this structure in plays, novels, and films. The three-act structure organized as Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Act 1 sets up the story. Here we know about the character, about his word, and there is the hook that must take audience attention quickly. In Act 2, there is happening conflicts, and this is the longest act in the three-act structure. And finally, Act 3, the act of resolution and the shortest act. So now let's see new storytelling techniques, which also divide into two as Pixar storytelling and Sparkline storytelling techniques. Pixar makes their film with this method so remarkable. There are a good story with well-developed characters, emotions, and a story. The general structure is once upon a time there was, and then every day, and then one day, after that because of that, and at the end until finally. This is the main structure of Pixar storytelling technique. We can say that Apple and some famous people like Steve Jobs use this technique a lot. Sparkline storytelling technique. The main idea is using contrast in presentation and asking two questions: what is and what could be? This contrast is a dynamic method of engaging the audience. So now let me ask you, how would you like to tell your stories? Using which techniques may help you, and which one is your best? Attention. While doing that, don't forget about who is your audience and what is your intention. A clear intention makes your word worthy. And don't forget, what do you want your audience to feel, to think, and to do? Here are the building blocks of a story. If you want to make a great presentation, you must follow them, because it will be really helpful for you. At first, let's start with the character, the main one. The character should be someone that audience or people can relate to. They must find the connection between character and themselves. Structure creates a narrative sequence that will be easy to follow and to remember. And the 3-act structure is the best option actually. Storyline. A story should chronicle what happens, whether it's a journey, experience, or discovery. Authenticity. People can really trust you if they know that you being yourself. This is important for connection with your audience and your character. Audience engagement. You must make them a part of the experience. You must stimulate their feelings. And last but not least, the hook. We use the hook to take attention quickly. So you must keep it clear and as simple as it possible. Let's move on to the next slide. How to develop your presentation. Here you can see poor example and a good example. You must use less words but more pictures. And please, don't read everything that you text on the slide. You must make eye contact with your audience. And now, here are some tips to make your presentation look awesome. It is font, color, and imagery. Font helps to convey a message clearly. Yes, it can be difficult because there is a various of choices for font, and there is some size differences. So you need to be careful and choose the most matching ones and the ones that you really like. And color. Color plays the main role. So you need to really choose matching colors. Don't choose, for example, black and pink at the same presentation. You can choose red instead of pink. Just try to find really good colors. Imagery. You must be creative. The photo must enhance the meaning. Please use your imagination in a good way. There were some tips to make your presentation better. And here are some references that I used by creating this presentation. You can look at them. I hope that it will be helpful for you. And it was the first time when I was doing something like that. So if I have done some mistakes, please forgive me. If you have some questions, you can ask them. And of course, this is not everything about presentation, but this is the main part that can really help you to make your presentation. And of course, when you presenting your presentation, be confident, use your body language as great as the great speaker, and make eye contact with your audience. because they are listening to you. So thank you a lot and see you next time.